Hi, I'm Lucy Davey of the Australian National Construction Major Project Review. I'm here at Innovation Place, one of Australia's newest landmark developments. We're going to take you on a tour and also introduce you to some of the more interesting subcontractors, suppliers and consultants that worked on this amazing project. Tell us about your role on the project.
Yeah, so Bovis Lendlease was the head contractor on Innovation Place. We commenced on site in January 2006 and we completed the project in September 2007. The project itself evolved about 4 years prior to that with the design team, mainly with Tenex itself managing the consultants. So Bovis Lendlease involvement was as the head contractor. We did provide ESD input and also some other design initiatives along the way.
Tell us about your company.
Bovis Lendlease is one of the world's leading project management, design and construction companies. We've been in operation since 1958. The company was originally founded by Dick Dusseldorf back then, and it was originally known as Civil and Civic. The company now is under the global organisation of Lendlease Corporation. We operate in over 30 countries worldwide, and we have over 8,000 employees globally.
Tell us about the materials and technology used.
With the curtain wall, there's the feature blade that runs up both the elevations of the building that you may be able to see behind me there. Quite a complicated feature which is very difficult to build. In most ways, generally you would construct the framework and scaffold up to glaze the blade. We came up with a prefabricated system so that it could be craned in conjunction with the curtain wall, just to eliminate working off scaffolds and falls. And it actually had two benefits. One, it enhanced the quality. Of course, we could manage that from a factory off-site basis, where quality control can be more tightly focused on. And also, with program, it reduced our cycle time up the building in terms of installation.
What are your company's plans for the future?
The future for Bovis Lendlease is actually looking very promising. We have a record number of jobs coming up over the next few years. We've always been a very large player in the commercial market, and that continues to be the case with some CBD projects. And we're also starting to venture more into the healthcare projects. We're doing a few hospital projects at the moment. ESD, environmental design and construction has always been a big part of Lendlease's focus, and with the way the industry is going, that will continue to be the case in the future.
How can people get in contact with your company?
Bovis Lendlease's head office is at 30 The Bond, 30 Hickson Road, Millers Point in New South Wales, in Sydney. Or alternatively, we do have a website at www.bovislendlease.com.
Tell us about your role on the project.
We were engaged to design the mechanical services, including the air conditioning, the electrical systems, power and lighting, as well as the vertical transportation, security and communications.
Tell us about your company.
Norman Disney & Young will have been in business 50 years next year, in fact. We've always specialised in the area of building services, and we focus on the expertise that we can deliver in those particular areas.
Tell us about the materials and technology used.
The air conditioning system that was used at Innovation Place is particularly interesting. It's what we refer to as a chill beam system and incorporates both active and passive beams. The significant difference between this technology and a conventional all-air system is that the cooling energy is distributed around the building using chilled water, and that's a much more efficient way of distributing that energy. And that in turn has led to this building recently being awarded a 5-star ABGR rating, which is the highest rating available, and is also the first building in North Sydney, and indeed one of the first high-rise commercial buildings in Sydney to achieve that rating.
What are your company's plans for the future?
Obviously, environmentally sustainable design is a key part of our focus as we go forward. And in focusing on that area, one of the things that we are developing more and more are in-house tools to model and simulate the energy performance of buildings. In association with that, we're also using technologies such as three-dimensional computer-aided design and what are referred to as building information models. Now, these are basically computer-generated models that will demonstrate to the client and end users what the building will look like and how it will perform once it has been completed.
How can people get in contact with your company?
All of our contact details can be found on our website, which is www.ndy.com, and that gives the details of each of our offices, both here and overseas.
Tell us about your role on the project.
My role on the project here was Business Development Manager, and did a lot of work in the early design stages with the architects and the mechanical consultants to meet both their requirements. A, being the aesthetics for the architect to make sure he got what he'd like to see, and B, to work with the mechanical consultants to get the performance they needed out of the ceilings to work with the chill beam systems.
Our goal is to ensure we deliver not just any ceilings, but the right ceilings.
Tell us about your company.
CSR Fricker Ceiling Systems was Fricker Ceiling Systems. We've recently been purchased by CSR. So now a company of 4,000 people that's been around for over 150 years here in Australia. We do a lot of work early on with samples. We do early designs. We do the prototypes. Then we actually come on site, do another prototype, make sure that this is how the ceiling will be built in the future. And then we do on-site inspections to make sure that that ceiling is being built as it's supposed to be built. To, again, make sure they get the right ceiling, not just any ceiling.
Tell us about the materials and technology used.
What we've got here is perforated metal steel ceiling tiles, which are made from a little bit of recycled content, as well as aluminium grid, which is all fully recyclable at the end of the day. Because it is a perforated metal ceiling, you're looking at getting a 30-year lifespan. A typical ceiling, you're looking at a 10 or 15-year lifespan. So over the 30-year lifespan of the building, you're environmentally more friendly, but also you're more cost-effective as well. This is our trademark 2-way access ceiling system with 3 tiles per module. What we've done here is combined a combination of about 3 or 4 different types of ceiling systems all into one around the facade. But we've got different technology to suit different types of chill beams, being the active chill beams and passive chill beams, and the different types of perimeters around the building, and as well as the curved facade or faceted facade.
What are your company's plans for the future?
Recycling. Environmentally sustainable development is on everybody's minds nowadays, so we're currently in development of a plant to recycle existing ceiling tiles.
To contact Fricker, please feel free to ring us on 1300 Fricker or visit our website.
Tell us about your role on the project.
I was a project manager on this project for Hastie Australia, and basically that involved procuring and sorting out all the contracts with all the various subcontractors, being pipe work, duct work, insulation, electrics, controls. My role was also to ensure that the occupational health and safety requirements of this project were met, inclusive of the quality requirements. That meant ensuring that we were keeping up to program, materials were delivered on site on time. My role was to ensure that the project was delivered on time, made money, which is very important these days, and ensured that the satisfaction was there for the client.
Tell us about your company.
Well, Hastie Australia was developed I think around 1970. It was a sheet metal company that was started up by a man by the name of David Martin. He came over here from England and started up a sheet metal company, and then since then it's evolved to a mechanical services contracting company.
Tell us about the materials and technology used.
The pipework arrangement on this project was in such a way that it didn't lend itself to allowing the air to escape from it once it was running. So essentially air can get trapped within the pipework as it was designed. So we staggered the pipes throughout the whole building so that always the return line was at the highest point and can bleed the air out of the system. So it was almost a self-venting system. That was one of Hastie's initiatives that we brought to the table with the consultants NDY, and they took it on board and thought it was quite a good idea. We also rearranged plant rooms to ensure that the ductwork can fit within the space, and more or less we stacked air handling units to give you more space around and allow for the ease of maintenance.
What are your company's plans for the future?
Well, Hastie Australia is looking to get into the sustainable energy side of things. We're currently training personnel to become GRID's accredited officers. We've currently got a couple of people in those roles, and we're putting on more people to emphasise that side of our business. We can see the importance to the developers and builders.
How can people get in contact with your company?
You can find us on www.hastiegroup.com.au, and that will give you all the details.
We hope you enjoyed hearing about the creation of this landmark building, Innovation Place.